Dividing whole numbers by fractions. Dividing whole numbers by unit fractions. So when we're doing this, when dividing fractions, always follow these steps. Keep, change, flip. First, you're going to keep the first number. So that means this is going to stay the same. So it's going to stay the same. Second, we're going to change the sign from divide to multiply. We're going to multiply. Lastly, third, we're going to flip the second number so that means we're going to be doing the reciprocal. So reciprocal just is another way of saying we flip it. So we're going to practice this by doing 2 divided by 1/3. So I always like to make sure I keep in order. So I write K, C, F above my equation. That way it helps me remember what I'm going to do. So my whole number 2, we're going to keep it the same. But by keeping it the same, we're going to make it a fraction, just like we did in multiplication by putting it over the number 1. Because this is still a whole number 2, just as a fraction. Now we're going to change this division sign to a multiplication sign. So we're going to multiply. And last, we're going to flip the last number. So this is 1/3. When we flip it, we're going to stand it up. So we're going to do 3 on top this time and 1 on the bottom. Now we have a fraction times a fraction, and we already know how to solve that by multiplying straight across. So we're going to multiply straight across. So in this case, I would do 2 times 3, so numerator times numerator, which gives me 6. Now I multiply my denominators. 1 times 1 gives me 1. I currently have 6 over 1, which is also read as 6 divided by 1. And the answer is 6. So that's following keep, change, flip. Let's do another practice problem. So it says dividing unit fractions. Remember, KCF. So this is going to give us the step-by-step, and we're just going to follow each step as we go through. So the very first one says make all numbers fractions. So we have the equation 2 divided by 1/8 equals. So since we have that whole number 2, we're going to make it a fraction by putting it over the number 1. So to show this step, we're going to take 2 and put it over the number 1. Step 2 on this says keep first fraction the same. So we're going to keep 2 over 1, and we're going to show divided by 1/8 equals. Step 3 says change the sign to multiply. So we're instead of that divide, we're going to have 2 over 1 times 1/8 equals. Step 4 says flip the second fraction, reciprocal. Reciprocal means just to flip it upside down. So we're going to have 2 over 1 times 8 over 1 equals. Step 5 says multiply, and this is where we multiply straight across. So we multiply it straight across, and N times N means numerator times numerator. So we get 8 times 8 times 2 gives me 16. Denominator times denominator, 1 times 1 is 1. And the last step says simplify, convert to whole number or mixed number. So remember, this is read as 16 divided by 1. So 16 goes inside the house, 1 is the divisor. 16 divided by 1 equals 16, a whole number 16. That's your answer. There are some more rules with this. So it's good to remember, do not switch the order. So whichever order your fractions come in, that's the order they stay in. If you start with a fraction, so if the first number you start with is a fraction, then you're going to end with a fraction. So that means your answer should be a fraction if you started with one. But if you start with a whole number, like in this problem, 2 divided by 1/8, you're going to end with a whole number. So the answer will be a whole number. And that was the steps for dividing whole numbers by fractions.